Man hunting in icy Alaska is suddenly horrified when a deer herd not far away seems to see something terrible. The roar of the deer was loud and clear throughout the valley. Before the hunter could react, the frightened deer rushed to the cliff as if they were crazy, and it seemed to be a sign of disaster. The hunter was dumbfounded by this scene. As the sun slowly sets, the polar night begins in Alaska. Researchers from all over the world are analyzing data at the Sala Arctic Research Station as usual. However, just as Longhair was sharing his daily life on his cell phone, his colleague Clark suddenly began to twitch. A few days later, Bill, a supply clerk, arrived at the station with a truckload of supplies. He stood at the door and yelled, but no one answered. He had no choice but to drag the supplies into the research lab to get a signature from a staff member, only to find the place empty. While he was puzzled, a dark shadow suddenly flashed in front of him. Bill then went to the kitchen to check on the situation and accidentally touched the keys on the table. He hurriedly knelt down to retrieve them but found a human tongue lying on the floor. Soon after, Director Leeds and his colleagues arrived at the station to investigate. The Sala Research Station has been in operation for 18 years and is used to study the geology and biology of the Arctic and the effects of climate change. Liz arrived at the lab and turned around to see the words were all dead written on a whiteboard. Peter found a couple of staff cell phones, and Bits asked Peter to access the phone records, and then called the rescue unit to send out a helicopter to search the area. But Hank thought that the scientists might be in danger. Might just be out exploring and suggested we wait. But Liz realized that the ham and sandwiches on the table looked fresh, but the mayonnaise was already in syrup. It takes 2 days for the mayonnaise to turn into syrup, and the clothes in the washing machine stink, which means these people have been missing for over 48 hours. It turns out that a year ago they also found an Aboriginal woman frozen in ice, and that Aboriginal woman had this mark on her tongue. They sent the tongue to the lab in Anchorage for analysis.